All right, Grand Rising, everyone. We're now live on the YouTube, Universal Tube, and we're ready and set to go. Again, one more time, welcome to the One Great I Am Awakening. I'm Chris Taylor, one of your hosts, and with me is my partner in spirit and my big brother, Mr. Gregory Isaac Thomas. Say hi to the panel, say hi to our fellow saints.
Yes, greetings and a happy Sunday morning to everybody that has taken the time out to be with us this morning. Just a normal routine. We are gonna be going through a planned lesson this morning entitled "Let Us Create Manifestation." Of course, you can only do that in your own image. You can only manifest as you have imagined it, as you have imaged it. So it's always gonna be in your own image. All right, we will have a short tape from Neville Goddard. It's only 12, 13 minutes long, but it is very loaded. That's a short tape is very loaded. It's gonna go into very detailed references of how to use what we have within to manifest without. Everybody can do it. Everybody has been doing it. This is not something that you can do. This is something that we all have been doing. We've been doing it unconsciously. And because of that, we, for the most part, manifest what we don't wish to manifest. But, here we are here to practice, to become skillful at manifesting what we will. All right, so Chris is gonna come back and we're gonna run that tape and just get into the whole meats and potatoes of it. How we are manifesting in our own image. We are creating this manifestation in our own image. And we do so, we are practicing now to do so consciously, to do it at will. Because as I say, it is something that you cannot help manifesting. We are always manifesting. Everything that you see that comes into your life, it didn't come from anywhere else. Everything that comes to you came from within you, within your own consciousness. Nothing comes to you, from some foreign matter. That is why when something comes to you, you're immediately able to identify it. You're able to identify it because you are the one that originated it. All right, so Chris, are you there ready to play the tape?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go.
It's in place. Okay. Sir T, today our lesson is also in, I don't know if you guys can see it, the Never Gathered Deluxe Collection, where he has all of his 14 books in this. So this is a Never Gathered collection, and the lesson today is also in this book on page 204. So, Sir T, if you can grab your book and follow along, because I'm probably gonna be going back to reference to it based on what we're going to be hearing on the tape, Very short lesson. It's only two and a half, 2.25 pages, something like that. But very profound, you know, lesson that we're going to be dealing with today. So the actual title of this lesson in Neville's book is The Dual Nature of Consciousness. And we want to make that very, very clear in today's lesson. This is not something that we as individuals, especially Black people, did not grow up knowing. No idea whatsoever about any dual nature of our consciousness. All right, so we really want to go in depth with that. If you guys already knew about that, great. We're going to review it to make it make more sense. All right. Also, want to recognize we have several newcomers among us. See, we just have Eddie joined, Eddie Webb. Welcome, Eddie. We have Tabitha Brown, who's also here with us. They were invited by Laurencia. So thank you for that, Laurencia, for inviting, some more minds, saints, fellow imaginations to our Sunday lesson. We're here every Sunday from 10 a.m. till about 12-ish, sometime more and whatnot. Also want to give big ups to Janice for continuing to come again. We've lost count now how many times she's been back, so we must be saying or doing something right. You
Yes, man. I tell you what, once once somebody come among you and they can be a witness of what you're saying, there will always be the urge to return. Once they are able to be a witness with what you're bringing forward. And, what we are teaching here is not anything that is foreign to anybody. If you're here with us for the first time, you're gonna quickly realize that these things that we are saying are things that it's hard for you to deny it because you've been doing it your whole life. You just weren't aware that that's what you're doing. You just weren't aware that these things that you're experiencing repeatedly over and over in your life is it's a pattern, and it's a pattern that is all instigated by you. Everything is initiated from within. Now, so we're only here to show each other, and to teach each other and to remind each other that this is something that we are doing. We are doing it unaware, but now we want to do it with awareness. We want to do it consciously rather than unconsciously. So we are only here every Sunday morning to remind each other that based on your thoughts, your emotions, and your feelings, that's how you are activating, generating, and creating the patterns that we see in our lives each day. All right, and we like to refer back to an old master named Neville Goddard, born in 1905, died in 1972, 67 years. But this man learned of this secret in the early years of his life, and he was kind enough to um to present it to us in many lectures and as Sir Chris said, 14 books. And we be a witness with what the brother, has been teaching. This man's been gone for what, 20, 53 years now. Yet the words that he taught us rings out very true to his very day. All right, so Chris.
That's right. You remember, say, never transition the same year you were born. You transitioned 2 months before your birth. Uh, Almost exactly 2 months.
Correct, correct, yes. See,
So,
so this man's been gone for as long as I've been alive. But the words are true.
everyone never lives on, to us. And very, very happy to be doing that. We also have another newcomer among us, Kerry Alfred. Welcome, Kerry. Thank you for joining. You're in for a very important lesson today. So grab your notepad, or if you don't have one, just take notes on your phone or just mentally. All right. If you're too busy, if your hands are tied up.
Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. Our absolute pleasure. That said, we may have a few more people join us in the interim. So, but I'm going to go ahead and get started on our lesson today by starting the video audio from Never Got It. All right. Again, for those of you who just joined, our main topic for today is let us make manifestation Key word there is man, as said in the Bible, Genesis 1 verse 26. Let us make man in our image. Sir T mentioned that earlier. So we're going to come back to that, but let's start the tape. And the book, the actual video we're going to be watching is a different title, but it is related. And it is termed The Dual Nature of Consciousness. All right? The Dual Nature of Consciousness. Welcome, Mr. Sunshine. Right on time. All right. So let us get into the lesson. We are right here. So we're going to be interrupting, intermittently just to further explain or deduce from what you're hearing, what it's really saying. All right. So just keep in mind, we'll be doing that periodically. All right. So let's go.
Chapter 2, Dual Nature of Consciousness. A clear concept of the dual nature of man's consciousness must be the basis of all true prayer. Consciousness includes a subconscious as well as a conscious part. The infinitely greater part of consciousness lies below the sphere of objective consciousness. The subconscious is the most important part of consciousness. It is the cause of voluntary action. The subconscious is what a man is. The conscious is what a man knows. I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. The conscious and the subconscious are one, but the subconscious is greater than the conscious.
All right. So real quickly, guys, want to pause it right there. And just go over this first chapter, this first stanza right here of this chapter. All right, so it says right here that a clear concept of the dual nature of man's consciousness. So when it says man's consciousness, we want to be clear. All right, and you'll find that answer in Genesis 1, verse 26, and Genesis 5, verse 1 and 2. Man is both male and female, okay? Just to make that clear. That's what man is. Male, masculine male, and feminine male. Common denominator there is male. We are all male. One of us is masculine, one of us is feminine. All right? Just to make that clear, to cause no confusion. All that means is that we are a unit, we are one. Just seem to be individuated or separated, but it is just an illusion. We're always operating as one body. Okay? One is the conscious mind, one is the subconscious mind. So we're going to try to clear that up to make it make sense. All right, so concept of the dual nature of man's, both male and female, consciousness must be the basis of all true prayer. So we're talking about here is to learn how to pray properly. Prayer is not kneeling down, praying for 2 hours as we've been taught in church, okay? That's not prayer. That's begging. What we're doing here is becoming more effective by working smarter, not harder, with our own consciousness, all right? And so this is what I want you guys to understand right here. The infinitely greater part of consciousness lies below the sphere of our objective consciousness. The objective consciousness is the conscious mind, the mind that we've grown up to know by the 5 senses, where we know that we can see, we can hear, we can taste, we can smell, we can touch, we can We're conscious of everything. That is the surface mind, the carnal mind. Okay? That's what we've been aware of all of our life. But we've never been aware of the infinitely greater part of our consciousness, which lies below, and therefore it is called the subconscious mind. All right? Because it's below the surface or below the conscious or our awareness. So the subconscious is the most important part of the consciousness. It is the greater part of your entire consciousness. Your consciousness is not just your conscious mind, your consciousness is both conscious and subconscious. It's one whole consciousness. I was explaining this to a friend of mine yesterday. It's a coin with two different sides. But how many coins do you have? One, but it has two different sides. This book, one book, but it has an outside and an inside, not two books, a one. The outside is the conscious part. The inside is the subconscious, where all the information is. So that's just to make it pretty clear and basic. Okay? So we want you guys to know that the most important part of your consciousness lies beneath your awareness. You don't know it's there. Today we're going to really, really try to understand that part of the of your consciousness. Right, Sir T?
Great, great. Yes, sir. And just an added detail that was mentioned in that first stanza. If you notice, when defining the two parts of consciousness, it was detailed that the subconscious mind represents what a person is, who you are, but the conscious mind represents what you know. If you notice, the conscious mind represents what you know. And what you know is just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more you can know. But who you are, which is the subconscious mind, it is it's beyond measure. The subconscious mind is pregnant with everything that you could ever want to know. Everything that you could ever want to know, everything that you could ever become is there already resident in your subconscious mind. But your conscious mind is just the tip of the iceberg. It's just what you know. It's only what you are aware of, conscious of, aware of. Another word for consciousness is awareness. It's really the same thing. So your conscious mind is a representation of what you know. And you're always going to be limited based on what you know. That's why they tell you that knowledge is power. You're always going to be limited to what you know. You will never become anything greater than what you know. You will never become anything greater than what you know. For you to become greater, you're going to have to go deeper into knowledge. You're going to have to know some more things so that you can become something more. All right. So don't ever close yourself into, whatever you were taught, whatever you were raised in, and you just lock yourself into that, because then you will never become anything more than that. You have to widen your horizon, become aware of a lot more things so that you can become a lot more. Because everything comes out of your awareness, out of your consciousness. What you're conscious of is what you can become. So, Chris.
Sir T, thank you for that addition. I want to add there is it says right here that the subconscious is responsible or is the cause of voluntary action. Okay, it responds to what you voluntarily thought or felt in those two sphere right there. It responds to thinking, which is thought, our thoughts, and how you feel. You can impregnate it or get it to respond based on how you feel, especially by feeling. Feeling is the most powerful vibration that the subconscious mind responds to, because it is a feminine part of consciousness, and it's emotional. It feels. It senses every emotion, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. Anger, rage, sadness, gladness, happiness, whatever emotion you are emoting or feeling, the subconscious responds to it. So notice it says voluntary. It just means it responds to whatever the conscious mind is doing. But sometimes the conscious mind does not know that it is doing it. But nonetheless, it is still voluntary because the conscious mind is the thinking mind. So it has to voluntarily do something. The subconscious does not think. It's an action mind. It just acts. It just reacts, really. Whatever you act in mind or in words or feeling, it reacts what you did. So it's like, when we watch a movie, the movie is only playing what was already done behind the scenes, whatever the directors and actors did. And then they put it on the screen, and the projector or what the tube or whatever is just replaying what was already done. That is what your subconscious mind does. It replays what you did in your conscious mind, or what you felt, or what you repetitively do. So that's how you create habits. Your habits are formed in your subconscious mind. So the conscious mind is a thinking mind. The subconscious is a habit or habitual mind. So now you know this is where you get your habits from. They come from you doing something over and over and over until it becomes resident in your subconscious mind. And then the subconscious mind takes over. So 90% of your life is operated subconsciously. Okay? 90% of your life is always going to be like that. It will never change. It's always going to be like that. That's what it is. Okay? But you just have to be aware of what habits you are creating so that when those programs are running, you're running the right programs and not the wrong one. Okay? So just want to preface that right there. All right, so let's go back to the tape. It's going to go into the second stanza here. And then we're going to come back and try to deduce from that again what it's really trying to say.
I of myself can do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the work. I, objective consciousness, of myself can do nothing. The Father, the subconscious, he doeth the work. The subconscious is that in which everything is known, in which everything is possible, to which everything goes, from which everything comes, which belongs to all, to which all have access. What we are conscious of is constructed out of what we are not conscious of. Not only do our subconscious assumptions influence our behavior, but they also fashion the pattern of our objective existence. They alone have the power to say, "Let us make man," objective manifestations, "in our image, after our likeness." The whole of creation is asleep within the deep of man, and is awakened to objective existence by his subconscious assumptions. Within that blankness we call sleep, there is a consciousness in unsleeping vigilance. And, while the body sleeps, this unsleeping being releases from the treasure house of eternity the subconscious assumptions of man.
All right, so let's go over this again because we really want to make it redundant and clear. Going back to the second stanza right here where it says, I of myself can do nothing. I right there is the conscious mind. Okay? And the I is always being the generator, the first. You determine, you're the one determining what it is that you're desiring. So I desire something. You're always the conscious mind desiring. Only the conscious mind can desire. The conscious mind in this sense is operating as the father, okay? That generates ideas. So I know it might sound a little bit confusing, but listen to what it says right here. I myself can do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the work. The Father within me they're talking about here is the subconscious. So the subconscious mind is what's doing everything that the conscious mind first desire or felt.
Sir Chris, just to help out with that, I think it would be a clearer language if it had said, I, the conscious mind, which is the male mind, I of myself can do nothing. The mother, the female mind within me, that is what does everything. It's like a man who wants to bring forward a child. The male who wants to bring forward a child. The male is the one, the child is initiated from the father. That child always existed within the father, within the male father, but the child never entered the mother, the female, until the male planted there. The child was never inside the mother at any point until the male planted it there. But that child, that desire, was always with the father. So I of myself, the conscious male mind, can do nothing. The mother, which is within me, that is the subconscious mind, the inner mind. The subconscious mind is the female mind. She is what does everything. When the man wants the child, all him do is plant that seed within the woman, and the father does not know. The man who plant the seed within the woman, he does not know the full workings of how that seed turn into a child. He does not know how to do that. It's the woman that does that. It's the female, it's all the workings of the female, all of her inner organs and what it does that brings forth that miracle. The miracle comes from within. We don't see when the child is being formed and when all the organs are growing within and the ones that are growing on the outside of the body. And we don't see that happening, but it happens. It's the same thing with when the desire comes from is initiated from the conscious mind. It's the conscious mind that initiates the desire. Only you know what you want. But once you put that desire out there into the world of subconscious, once that desire goes out into the subconscious world, you don't know how it's gonna manifest. It is the mother within, the subconscious mind, which is the mother. It is the mother within that does all the work and bring forth that desire, which was the seed planted, and turn it into a child. The word becomes flesh and is manifested back unto you. So I know the language, it does sound a little bit conflicting because it is saying the father within. But it's really the female, all the female gyrations that take place and bring forward the desire. That's why a woman is so important. There's nothing like a woman, no make nobody fool you.
That's why we say, and thank you for that clarification, sir. That's why I said it's a confusing language. That is a much better way to transcribe it and deliver it. And that's what the book is saying right here, that the subconscious is the most important part. because nothing can bring forth a human being other than a woman. Nothing can populate the world besides a woman. All things, everything, everyone that we see comes from a woman. Okay? This is why it is the most important part. In consciousness is more dynamic because as human beings, we can only birth human beings. But your consciousness has no frontier. It can birth everything and anything, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. So we're trying to correlate the two minds and how they operate. This is why this book is, this chapter in the book is called The Dual Nature of Consciousness. It is telling you that consciousness, being one, has two modes of operation, one male, one female, one father, one mother, okay? One desirer, and the other one is the maker or the creator, the one that gives what you desired, okay? The feminine aspect of man is the subconscious mind. And this is how you pray. When you're praying, and it's going to go into that at the next segment is coming up. When you're praying, you are really praying to your subconscious mind. Okay? Your desire is what you're giving to the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind then gives back what you gave. That's why they say it's better to give than to receive, because they can't receive until you give.
Correct. And you give not in the form of a petition. See, religious prayer is a petition because in religious prayer, you have been taught that there is someone on the outside who's gonna hear that prayer and reward you if you feel like, if you think you're worthy. Now, prayer is not a petition. Prayer is an assumption. Let me say that again and say it slowly. Prayer is not a petition. Prayer is an assumption. You assume that things are the way they ought to be. That's how you pray. You pray by going within, steal your way into the subconscious world, meaning you still your mind and lock yourself out of this conscious world that you're seeing with your five senses. You still your mind and take yourself out of this conscious world, steal into the subconscious world. You burglarize your way into the subconscious mind, into the subconscious world, and you assume that things are the way you want them to be. That's how you pray. Prayer is an assumption, it's not a petition. And this is why most prayers from the religious world, from religious people, most prayers go unanswered. And I was once steeped in religion. And in religion, you actually lie to yourself that your prayers are being answered. When in reality, you know they're not being answered. Because you're going into the prayer, going in there begging and asking. Asking of who? Nobody knows what you want except you. You assume that things are the way they ought to be, and you hold fast to that by faith. Faith, Faith. Feel as if this happened, past tense. That's how you pray. You go into the subconscious mind and make yourself feel as if this, whatever this is that you desire, feel as if this happened. That's how you pray. Circus.
Sir, I wonder if you clarify here. You know, that's exactly how you pray. Not to a God in the sky, but it is a reasoning within your own self. That's all it is. You're reasoning with your own self. Okay? If you think you're talking to a God in the sky or some deity, some omnipotent, unseen being out there, you're at there that deities are beings mercy, because you have to sit around and wait to see if the prayer is answered. You are the one. Reverend Ike has a video about this, how to answer your own prayer. Okay, you are the one answering your prayer by just being faithful that it already is. That's it. That's how you answer your prayer now. That it already is. Your surface mind, the conscious mind, the mind of knowledge, it knows in a way that it is not the case. You're not seeing it or enjoying it or experiencing it. But do not let that be your guide. The conscious mind, in a sense, will rob you of your blessing or of your desire. Okay? It's the mind that desires, and the tape is going to go into that a little bit to explain further, but you don't want to use that as your guide. Your guide is your subconscious, because that is the storehouse that has everything in it. Okay? It's like if you're going to go shopping at Walmart, you cannot consciously say Walmart does not have what you desire. You have to go to Walmart, and you know that Walmart has it. It's a storehouse. You're going to go there and pick up what you need. But you cannot sit home and make the decision and say it's not there, because you're not the storehouse. You're just the one who desires what's in the storehouse. So you have to go there. And you go to Walmart with ultimate belief that whatever you're going to Walmart for, they have it. If it's not at one, it's at the other. Maybe if it's not there, it's online. You know you're going to get it somewhere, somehow. You have absolute faith. It's the same way you have to have within your own self. And it is even more powerful or potent, because your subconscious, there is not any one thing that it does not know or doesn't have, because it is all that you are, the subconscious mind. All that you are is the subconscious mind, where you're desiring from it, piece by piece, little by little, just peeling off the layers, because you cannot have it all at one time. Can't buy everything from Walmart at one time. But eventually, Walmart is going to sell everything that's in there. You understand? So it's the same thing with your consciousness. Everything is already there that you desire, but you have to still call it forth. All right? But we're going to continue with the next stanza, and we're going to come back and deduce from it some more.
Prayer is the key which unlocks the infinite storehouse. Prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. Prayer modifies or completely changes our subconscious assumptions. And a change of assumption is a change of expression. The conscious mind reasons inductively from observation, experience, and education. It therefore finds it difficult to believe what the five senses and inductive reason deny. The subconscious reasons deductively and is never concerned with the truth or falsity of the premise, but proceeds on the assumption of the correctness of the premise and objectifies results which are consistent with the premise. Again, the subconscious reasons deductively and is never concerned with the truth or falsity of the premise, but proceeds on the assumption of the correctness of the premise and objectifies results which are consistent with the premise. This distinction must be clearly seen by all who would master the art of praying. No true grasp of the science of prayer can be really obtained until the laws governing the dual nature of consciousness are understood, and the importance of the subconscious realized. Prayer, the art of believing what is denied by the senses, deals almost entirely with the subconscious. Through prayer, the subconscious is suggested into acceptance of the wish fulfilled, and, reasoning deductively, logically unfolds it to its legitimate end.
Great. I love this part right here. Very, very powerful and important part of praying. As it says right here, prayer is the key which unlocks the infinite storehouse. Okay? Prayer is the key which unlocks the infinite storehouse. I have something on my wall that says, what is that? Prayer is the key to heaven. Faith unlocks the door. There you have it. Prayer is the key to heaven. Faith unlocks the door. So you have to have faith, even if you have the key. You have to have faith for it to unlock the door of heaven. So it says right here that, prove me now herewith, say the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing that there shall not be room enough to receive it. It's telling you right there about the subconscious mind and the mother or the feminine mind, as we've earlier discussed. Okay. So what is prayer? Prayer modifies or completely changes our subconscious assumptions. And a change of assumption is a change of expression. So what that means is, in a sense, you are always praying, and usually by feeling. Because sometimes you say, I feel like I'm going to get this thing. And then another minute you say, I don't feel like it's going to happen. So what you're doing is you're always assuming something, and your subconscious picks up on that. So a change in assumption, a change in feeling, creates a change of expression. So what could be the expression? If you're wishy-washy, because the conscious mind is a double mind. What does that mean? It is always reasoning one way or another. It's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil in the Garden of Eden, the conscious mind. It's always thinking of another outcome, another way, always trying to reason how things are going to happen, when, if, but, where. So it's that mind that is operating by the senses, because if you sense something that you've desired, you know you don't have the money, you know you don't have the vehicle, whatever that may be, to attain this thing, you're trying to reason how it's going to happen consciously. Okay? And in doing so, you're invoking feeling. One minute you feel like it's going to happen, another minute you feel like it's not going to happen. Or you doubt it's going to happen, or if, or will it. You have all these emotions going on through your conscious mind. And all these are just assumptions that, if impressed upon the subconscious mind, will create a particular expression. That expression could be confusion, just because of what you've been thinking or feeling. The subconscious mind don't even know what to do in terms of it cannot give you what you really desire. It can only give you what you're giving it. Okay? It's like a mirror. Whatever the mirror sees, whatever you're dressed in, and stand in front of the mirror can only give that back to you. If it's the wrong color, the wrong look, the mirror cannot change it. All right. So you have to desire you have to desire properly, constructively, and leave it be. Give it to the subconscious mind. Give it to the mother of your mind. You're the one who's asking for something. You cannot receive it from yourself. So you have to ask and then give what you're asking for. So to receive what you need, you have to first give what you need or what you desire. Okay. And it says right here that the conscious mind reasons inductively from observation, from experiences, and from education. And so these things causes the conscious mind to sometimes finds it difficult to believe what the five senses denies. Your five senses are always going to deny what you consciously are trying to create or design. It's going to tell you don't have enough money, you don't have the time, you don't have the vehicle. May that be a business, the right job, whatever money you're trying to raise to buy a house, a car, a travel, anything you're trying to create, your senses are going to tell you this is not so. I don't see how it's possible. You're trying to buy a house in this market. You're trying to buy a house that is too expensive. You're trying to buy a car that is it costs too much, or your credit is not enough. Your conscious mind slash five senses knows all these things, and it's going to raise questions. It's going to deny your reasoning, and this is where we give up because the conscious mind and the five senses are working together. Okay, this is where the story of the 12 disciples comes in with Jesus walking around meeting all these disciples. These disciples represents your conscious mind. Your conscious mind requires discipline. Okay, so if you don't discipline the conscious mind, it's going to deny whatever you desire. So to discipline that mind is to accept that you of yourself can do nothing. Once you accept that reality, that the conscious mind, this is the you they're talking about now, the I, the conscious mind does not know how to do anything. A man cannot have a baby. But if a man wants to have a child, boy or girl, you seek a female that knows how to do it. You don't sit down as a man trying to figure out how you're going to have this baby. Nobody does that. It's the same thing with your mind, your consciousness. You should always know this is the same way it works. The conscious mind does not know how to have or produce anything. It does not. It's the male mind. But the subconscious knows how to do everything. So you desire it and you give it to the subconscious to figure it out. Do not go back and stir the pot and wonder how and where and when and if. Just leave it alone and it will produce what you desire. Until then, you're gonna always have confusion trying to figure out how it's gonna be done. Yes, sir, T.
Yes, just always turn your desire over to the all-knowing mind. Always turn your desire over to that mind that already knows everything that is the sub. If you notice, the subconscious mind, no matter how deep your problem is. Even earlier this week, I was in my subconscious mind in a dream, because that's where you at when you're dreaming. When you actually fall asleep when you're dreaming, you're totally into your subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is fast asleep. Conscious mind shut off completely. You're totally into your subconscious mind. And I was having a dream, and the dream was not going the way that I wasn't enjoying the dream. It wasn't a good one. But have you ever heard them say you become wide awake in a dream? I became wide awake in the dream, meaning whilst I was in the dream, I realized I was dreaming. I'm sure you all have experienced that. While dreaming, I realized it's only a dream. So all the turmoil that I was going through in my dream immediately stopped because I realized I have full control. All I have to do is wake up. All I have to do to get rid of that issue is wake up. That's what you have to do on the converse now. That's what you have to do. You have an issue here in this world, in this conscious world. Turn it over to the subconscious world. All you have to do is give it to the subconscious world. And as Sir Chris rightfully say, accept. Don't fight with the conscious mind, trying to figure out how the conscious mind, with the conscious mind, how this is gonna be. No, accept that you don't know how to do it. Accept that you don't know how. I don't know how. I don't know how I'm gonna solve this problem. I don't waste your time trying to figure it out. Turn it over to the mind that already knows how. It's like as you use the example of a man wanting a child. Don't be over here trying to fight yourself how you want. No, go find a woman. Any kind of child you want, the woman have the possibility. The woman can bring forth a boy. She can bring forth a girl. She can bring forth twins, two boy one time. She can bring forth twins, two girl one time. She can bring forth a boy and a girl twin. The woman can do everything. Go find your one. That's what you do. You have to turn things over to the mind that there is always a way out, but you don't know the way out. You have to go into your subconscious mind and leave it there. Don't come out of your subconscious mind with the problem. Take the problem there and leave it there. And allow your subconscious mind to figure it out. Surface.
That is where we struggle, Sir T, is leaving it up to the subconscious mind. Because the conscious mind thinks it knows and it will wrestle with itself ad nauseum, trying to figure it out. And all you do is cause more confusion. And interestingly, while you're wrestling with the conscious mind, the subconscious is recording everything and just gives you back what you're contemplating, give you back confusion, because that's what you're giving to it. Okay? So just like with pregnancy, sometimes there's a miscarriage, sometimes there's a premature birth, you know, and stuff like that. That is the conscious mind causing all those things, causes the subconscious to miscarry because it's confused. It started to bring forth the fruit or something, and it just decides to, in all your confusion, that was the feeling it picked up. And it just, you probably don't know because it's not something that you're going to see, but it's something that you're not going to get or have. You can see that as a miscarry. It didn't bring forth what you were desiring because you were too involved consciously. And so the subconscious mind, in trying to bring forth whatever you desire, it lost the desire. Sometimes it comes as what's the next one? The premature birth. You know, you couldn't wait. And so you're trying to force or will this desire and accepted something that you should have waited, but you consciously could not wait. And so you prematurely accepted something that if you had waited maybe another day, 2 months, or even a year, you would have gotten something better. So you can see it like that, okay? So here's what the book says right here, and then we're going to move on. That the subconscious reasons deductively and is never concerned with the correctness of the premise, never concerned with the truth, or the falsity of the premise, but proceeds on the assumption of the correctness of the premise and objectifies results which are consistent with the premise. The premise here is your desire. Whatever you have desired, your subconscious mind will figure out how to do it, whether it is, whether to you, the conscious mind, it is possible or not, or if it's so-called hard or not. The subconscious mind will figure it out. And very important to understand here that, where's that part now? You must distinct, okay, clearly, in order to master prayer, it says the distinction must be clearly seen by all who would master the art of praying. No true grasp of the science of prayer can be really obtained until the laws that governs, or that the laws governing the dual nature of consciousness, the conscious and subconscious, are understood, and more importantly, and the importance of the subconscious realized. It is telling you that you should give everything over to the subconscious mind. Prayer, the art of believing what is denied by the senses, deals almost with the subconscious. So the senses, your conscious mind, will deny everything, but the subconscious will, it says right here, accept, the wish fulfilled, and reasoning deductively, logically unfolds it to its legitimate end. So your subconscious mind deduce from whatever possibilities that there is. It deducts from that by communicating by telepathy with all the other subconscious minds. This is one thing that we're not privy to or understand. Everything, every one of us, whether it be an animal, an insect, human being, nature, if you want to call it that, is run by the subconscious. Okay? Everything is, and this subconscious is seen as a soul of all living things. Okay? And it operates by telepathy, by communicating with the persons necessary that's going to make your desire come to fruition. We're going to play the rest of this tape that's going to highlight some of what I just said, so you can further understand how dynamic your subconscious mind really is. So let's play the rest of it and we'll be right back.
Far greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. The subjective mind is the diffused consciousness that animates the world. It is the spirit that giveth life. In all substance is a single soul, subjective mind. Through all creation runs this unbroken subjective mind. Thought and feeling fused into beliefs impress modifications upon it, charge it with a mission, which mission it faithfully executes. Again, the subjective mind is the diffused consciousness that animates the world. It is the spirit that giveth life. In all substance is a single soul, subjective mind. Through all creation runs this one unbroken subjective mind. Thought and feeling fused into beliefs impress modifications upon it, charge it with a mission, which mission it faithfully executes. The conscious mind originates premises. The subjective mind unfolds them to their logical ends. Were the subjective mind not so limited in its initiative power of reasoning, objective man could not be held responsible for his actions in the world. Again, were the subjective mind not so limited in its initiative power of reasoning, objective man could not be held responsible for his actions in the world. Man transmits ideas to the subconscious through his feelings. The subconscious transmits ideas from mind to mind through telepathy. Your unexpressed convictions of others are transmitted to them without their conscious knowledge or consent, and, if subconsciously accepted by them, will influence their behavior. The only ideas they subconsciously reject are your ideas of them, which they could not wish to be true of anyone. Whatever they could wish for others can be believed of them. And, by the law of belief which governs subjective reason, they are compelled to subjectively accept, and, therefore, objectively express accordingly. The subjective mind is completely controlled by suggestion. Ideas are best suggested when the objective mind is partly subjective. That is, when the objective senses are diminished or held in abeyance. This partly subjective state can best be described as controlled reverie, wherein the mind is passive, but capable of functioning with absorption. It is a concentration of attention. There must be no conflict in your mind when you are praying. Turn from what is to what ought to be. Assume the mood of fulfilled desire, and, by the universal law of reversibility, you will realize your desire.
All right, guys, that is the end of the tape. Dual nature of consciousness. But again, our topic is let us make manifestation. Let us make man. In this sense, man is what you're desiring. Let us make what we're desiring. Okay? But let's go back over this last stanza here to clarify a few things, and then we're going to continue. If you guys have any questions or commentary, whatnot, we're going to get to that as well. So this one started by saying, far greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. So let's make another preface here, if we didn't say it earlier. The Bible is not a history book. It's not speaking about history. It's speaking about your consciousness, your mind, your imagination. It's speaking about you, okay? It relates back and forth with reality, with the earth, with flesh, with the world, this and that and the third, trying to make what you're reading felt, understood, something that you can identify with. But it is not to be mistaken to be history. I was having this discussion with a friend of mine last night. Okay? The book is not a history book. It's a book of mind science, as Reverend Ike likes to say. Never God it says it's a book of psychology. Okay? So what is it saying here? Far greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. All right? So the he they're talking about here is the subconscious mind. And as we've said earlier, a better way to describe it is she, her, the mother. The consciousness is dual. It's mother and father. Okay. When you say I am, you're reading. What is his name? Joseph Murphy says it this way: the I is being the infinite, and the am is the Abba Mem, the father and mother. Okay. So you're always being the father and the mother in your consciousness and everything you're doing. How is it true? Because that's what produces. You cannot produce without a male and female or father mother aspect. There's no other way to produce anything, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. You're always being the father and mother, always in your consciousness, because that's what it is. It's never separated. It's always one together, and that's why it produces things in your life. So far greater is he or she, the subconscious, than he. The he is referring to here is the conscious mind. The conscious mind is in the world. The conscious mind operates the flesh. The conscious mind is conscious of everything around it, the five senses. Your subconscious mind resides in another dimension, the fourth dimension, where everything comes from. That is the heaven. The fourth dimension is heaven, or the subconscious mind, where everything comes from. Okay? It also mentions here that the subconscious mind is where everything goes and where everything comes from. Why did it say that? Because that's what you have to inject or induce what it is that you desire from the subconscious, from heaven. So you have to go to it. And then whatever you went to it with in mind, in prayer, it gives back. So everything goes to the subconscious to be produced. The subconscious mind is a manufacturer, a manufactory. It's a warehouse, a storehouse. That's where things are made. You bring what you need to be made to the factory, and the factory makes it and give it back to you. It is really that elementary. It's not rocket science. Rocket science is much harder than what I'm telling you. Okay, this is just something that is hidden to the masses, from the masses, by the powers that be. They don't want you to know how your mind works. Okay, and we are creating this world, as we're saying here, with the conscious and subconscious, the dual consciousness of the mind. Everything that's going on in the world, we the people are the ones who have created it and continue to create it. And we are led by people that knows, okay, how things are created. We are creators, all of us. You're creating your reality. I'm creating mine. Collectively, we're creating this entire world. We have all these different random things going on at the same times. At the same time, we create our own, experiences and whatnot, but they're all intermingling because we're all creating our own scenery. And so we think it's some other being out there, or the devil, that is going at it, how to create this world. That devil and God, if you want to call it that, that's somewhere out there, is really in here. Okay, it is your consciousness. One part of you is being devilish, one part of you is being the creator, our God. And that's what's at war, your consciousness, back and forth, and is creating this world, but it's not being created from out there. It's being created from in here, in your own consciousness, your own awareness. That's where everything is coming from. But as Sister Marlon have his hand up. I'm gonna let you go ahead, Sir Marlon, and I'll go back to what I'm saying here. Go ahead, sir. Let's see, you just came in.
Yeah, man. Grand rising, blessed love to each and everyone. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I just want to go back to when before you actually went back to the tape. That last time you had said prior to that, you said every organism or everything there is communicate telepathically to let your desire come true. I just wanted to jump on right there and even expound further in saying that it's more about the frequency that matches up. You see me I did? Just that same thing that you said. It's about the frequency that that matches up. So it's like separating oranges from peach. You know what I mean? And the frequency of orange matches with the other oranges and can increase your oranges, and the frequency of peach can match that. So we are all a part of this great. We are all a part of the intelligence. There is all there is. You understand? And just like you just said, we work together to make the dream work. You understand? And we're our own creators. So therefore, every aspect of what we are causes all this to be. So I like to say the universe picks up the frequency that you put out and sends it back to you, which is what is your desire. It increases on it. So what you put out is what you get. What you put out into the universe, what you get back to you. So, you know what I mean? If you are vibrating at a frequency of 120 megahertz per second, and your desire, what causes you to vibrate at that? Just as an example, I don't know if that's a real figure compared to how things vibrate at its frequencies, but 120 megahertz per second, and that why you started vibrating like that. Normally, your thoughts, your whole being vibrate at say 80 megahertz per second. But when you desire, your thoughts are of getting a house or the car of your dreams, right? And your aspirations ignite, and you put those thoughts in your head. You see yourself. You start. You actualize the feeling of driving that car or living in that house. You actually see yourself open your front door and go in. Kids are come meet your daddy and thing, and you wonder where you gonna cook for dinner today. What you gonna provide, or are you gonna take them for pizza? You understand? Imagine the wife said to you, "So boy, you hear a creak upstairs, and it seem like one of the stairway floorboards, like it loose or something or whatever." Can you imagine a brand new house and the store and the stairway thing loose? I imagine all of that and how you feel about, man, I forget it fixed. And put all that into it. It's as if you're literally living there already. So that way your body, your thoughts, your body, your being vibrates at a different frequency, And that is putting that desire. Correct me if I'm off tangent, Sir Chris. And that frequency is what is put out there. You understand? I'm gonna let you take it from there. You sound a little low. I don't know if it's on my end.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're audible now.
Yeah, I'm saying that's right. terminology you're using, frequency or vibration, to vibrate as at the same as another thing or person or animal or feeling or whatever that there is. That's what's going to produce back to you what correlates. So, you remember that back in the day, maybe not so much now, but when we used to turn our dials on the radio and you're picking up all type of frequencies, it's going in and out, in and out. But when you settle on the right number, the right bandwidth, the signal comes in much clearer because you're now matched up with the right frequency. The tower is putting out its own frequency, and your radio, being the conscious part, the tower is the subconscious that you're reaching out to. So you see, everything we do is in our image and likeness. Yeah, there's always a male and female. There's always a right and left, up and down, forward, backwards. There's always two. But those two things are being one. And that's how you get an experience, So just like that, Sir Marla, some people don't believe or accept or understand that everything. Okay, Serti. Serti is him have to run. He's actually, double tasking or dual tasking, multitasking and whatnot. So, but we're here, Serti. But some people don't accept or realize that in everything there's a single soul, the subconscious mind, that has to be there for that thing or those things to have life, as everything is running subconsciously. What did it say right here? The subjective mind is the diffuse consciousness that animates the world. It is the spirit that giveth life. The word spirit or spirit is Latin, primarily French. That means life. All right? It is a spirit that giveth life. In all substance is a single soul, subjective mind. Okay? So the subjective mind is the cause that animates the entire world. And it does it as we are aligned with a particular feeling, thought, vibration, frequency. Once we become aligned with that, which the subconscious is always putting out, the subconscious mind has all these vibration frequencies already. It doesn't try to become any particular frequency. It already is. The subconscious mind is what a man is, or what man is. Okay, male and female is what we are in reality. But the conscious mind is the one trying to mimic, trying to become, trying to be what already is. Okay? Now, once you become what already is, like I just explained, turning the dial to the radio station. The radio station already exists. It's already putting out the right frequency. It is you who have to match it. And you will not get the frequency that you desire until you match the frequency you desire. That's how it works. It is really that elementary. So when we're praying, we must know that whatever we desire already is, it already exists. It's not something that we are trying to manufacture, okay? It is already in existence in your subconscious mind. It exists there. What you're doing is trying to induce the subconscious mind, just like when they induce a pregnant woman to have the baby. It's the same thing you're doing. The subconscious mind is always pregnant with infinite possibilities. You're trying to induce the pregnancy, trying to draw out what is already there. But you have to know what you desire. Okay? You have to be, you have to know how to pray properly. and realize that everything is going to come from the subconscious. There's nothing that you can produce consciously. You're not the one that manufactures it. You just order what is there, and they manufacture it. But you of yourself cannot manufacture what you're trying to buy. You're just buying it. It already exists, and you sit there and wait until it's delivered. We operate like that every day with Amazon. It's really no different. But there's a mental block when we're trying to do these things with our consciousness. I don't know if it's because it's not visible, and we're used to everything being visible. We're used to just going somewhere and grabbing it, or ordering it, or sending someone for it. We're used to that. But to produce it with our own minds, it becomes a mental block. It requires patience, faith, persistence, um, just overcoming whatever obstacles that may interfere. We have to learn these things. And but there's a couple of things here that it says that I want us to really take to heart and understand. Okay. Where does it says right here? This part, that the subjective mind is completely controlled by suggestions. So all you're learning to do is to suggest to the subjective mind what it is that you desire. So you are consciously suggesting, and your suggestions are what controls the subconscious mind. Okay? It says that these ideas are best suggested when, very important to understand here, these ideas are best suggested when the objective mind is partially subjective. Now, that is the hard part right there. Because the conscious mind, which is the objective mind, because it has an objective, it's always desiring something. What's your objective? I desire a new car, a new house, a new pay scale, a degree, whatever it is. You always have some kind of objective that you're desiring. So how can you be partially subjective? Partially subjective means to be disciplined, to discipline your five senses. If you discipline your five senses, you can enter the state of being partially subjective, meaning that the subjective mind is submissive. It accepts what is. It doesn't try to reason and try to logically reason how this is going to happen. It doesn't do that. It's not a thinking mind. It's not a reasoning mind. It just acts. It files things. Okay, where is this? It looks through the files. It finds what it needs. It takes that. It looks through the files. It doesn't concern itself with if it's false or if it's real, if it's going to happen or not. It does not do that. If it takes it a year, 5 years, 5 hours, 5 days, whatever time it takes, depending on your feeling, your desire, how important that thing is to you, that's how your subconscious mind will work. This is where they get the thing from, saying that nothing happens before its time. And we think it's some God in the sky that decides when the time is. It is always you who have consciously decided when is the time. It is you who made it an important objective. This is why when we're in dire strait and something needs to get done ASAP, we somehow, our mind starts to race and we start to think or see the possibilities. We start to see, okay, this is how I desire to happen. This is what I exactly desire. This is what I need right now. I need my rent paid. I need my car note paid. I need to my car was repoed. How am I going to get it back? And you start going through all these different feeling. of receiving or retrieving whatever it is that is going on. And in some way, miraculous way, people call it miracle, that your desire got answered right there and then in a matter of hours, days, maybe weeks. And then we have some desires that 5 years pass and I'll know nothing has happened because it's not something that you have a strong feeling for. Okay? Nothing happens before it's time until you decide it is time. Once you made a decision, your subconscious mind goes into operation and creates it based on how badly you need it. When we order something on Amazon, it says, oh, it's going to come tomorrow. It can come in 3 days. But if you want it right now, you got to pay a little extra. They got the thing you need, but it's up to you to decide how soon you need it. You got to pay extra. In this case, you got to pay more attention. Energy flows where attention goes. Pay more attention to what you desire, and the more you pay, is the sooner you get it. Just like on Amazon. So it's as simple as that. Yes, sir. Sir Mala.
Doubt. So doubt would be the the enemy to the expectation. So when you desire something and you expect it, the expectation that you have is the catalyst because you're not expecting your expectation is that you're going to receive. So
Yes.
everything that is within you is put into you expecting it. And you feel it so much and so strongly that it has to happen. But the minute you start doubting that will it come? Is it really gonna come? You pretty much nullify all of what you just created and the force by which you created it. Just like as an example, I know how many of you, come from a background where we used to have a set water in a container, like the ice tray and whatever it is, you put inside the freezer. We used to sell ice when I was young and stuff because not everybody had a refrigerator. And when you set the ice, um, if you keep opening the freezer door every minute, it takes longer for the ice for farm. But you will switch what to start quail up. No, you don't see exactly when the water harden into ice. But if you keep opening the fridge, you will see little icicles and stuff inside the water, inside it. So you know something is happening. But if you don't open it at all and expect the ice, you know what I mean? The ice is formed quicker, more solid, and it's surely form as long as the fridge is working properly. You understand? So the doubt would be you opening the fridge every time, watching it, looking at it to see if it is really making ice. You understand? Instead of you leaving it alone, set it and expect it to come forward and forget about it. Yeah, I mean, just making an analogy, circus towards the same end.
Why, Sir Mala, I tell you, say, I don't know if I've ever heard a better analogy in what you just said in terms of how consciousness works. Wow, like that one. I hope you guys got that. And this is true. We were always told not to open the fridge back and forth. Number one, it burn more electricity. Why? Because it's going to take longer to cool the thing you're trying to cool, whether it be in the fridge or in the freezer. In the analogy that you use about the freezer making the ice, the ice cannot form if you keep opening the fridge, the freezer door, or if you leave it open. It may form, at some time, at some point, but as it says, Sir Marlon, it's going to take longer to form. That is the conscious mind being impatient and undecisive or indecisive. 1 minute you believe, another minute you don't. And you're going back and forth. And the subconscious mind, the freezer here, is picking up on that. And it's saying, should I do or should I don't? You know, it's like, what should I do? It's going back and forth. Not and it's going by your operation. It's always a conscious mind that is impressing, influencing the subconscious, you know? And the production takes longer. The ice, as I say, is forming, but it's not ice yet. It's still ice water and it look mushy. Basically, the surface of it is thin, but the inside is still liquidy and hasn't hardened yet into ice. So that is your desire that's been made in the freezer in this case. And because of your impatience, it's not being done. Another thing is, we can add to that, Sir Marlon, is you need the ice, but you haven't put the ice tray in the fridge. The ice tray is still sitting on the countertop, either empty or with the water, and you sitting there expecting ice to be made. And it's not in,
Hey, I'm glad you mentioned that. That is people who sitting away from Papa Jesus. I'm
ah,
sorry. I am so sorry.
that's the one who's sitting around waiting for God.
Yes,
The
sir.
desire is right there, and you're waiting for God to produce it. Oh, and it's not in the freezer.
Exactly.
As I said, that was a great, or probably one of the greatest analogy I've heard here on the program, because it is so relative to our desires. We fail to turn it over to the subconscious, the mother in you, the mother aspect, the feminine aspect of your consciousness. We fail to do that, but we're expecting something back. You cannot receive unless you give, you know? And you're only responsible for 10% of the production. In this case, in terms of your consciousness. The conscious mind is 10% of your life. The 90% is all subconscious. It runs everything in your body. Does anybody here have to think how to breathe or beat your heart? Anybody? Anybody has to think, how your heart's gonna pump your blood? Everything is just natural. You understand? Yes, you can consciously do breathing techniques that is beneficial to your blood and whatnot. But on a subconscious level, nobody does that. You have to consciously do that. So 90% of the time, you don't even know you're breathing. You just know you're alive and moving around. You have no concern. You're not even conscious of your breath whatsoever. You're not conscious of how many heartbeats per second or per minute or per day. Nobody's conscious of that until you go and consciously research or test yourself. So you see, 90% of your day and your entire life is run by your subconscious, including whatever programs you gave to it, and they become habits. And that's what runs your life. You say, why do I always, end up here or end up there? Why is this keep continuing to happen? And we don't know. It is our subconscious programs that we either had from when we were kids, or as we grew up, we picked up these subconscious beliefs, these behaviors, and they become recorded, submitted, and they're running in the background. It's not near your surface mind. You don't know that it's going on. It's not something you're conscious of. Just like you're not conscious of how many heartbeats you have per day, but it's there. We're not conscious of how many breaths we take, but it's there, you know. And it's the same thing with your feeling. We don't know how throughout the day how many times we felt a certain way or a certain length of time. Sometimes it's not necessarily how you feel, but how long you feel that way. The longer you feel that way is the more or the sooner you're going to impress your subconscious mind. Once it's impressed, it becomes a program, it becomes somewhat permanent, and it runs your life. And you have no idea that it is there. Absolutely none. You know, and the subconscious mind can do a million things, literally, all at the same time. Your body runs just fine with all your organs doing what they need to do. Your liver, your kidneys, all those things are working just fine. They don't need any directions. It's just automatic. Your body's autonomous. The subconscious mind is the autonomous mind. The conscious mind is the manual mind. That's the mind that has to do something, you know, no, definite, like desiring, like thinking, like worrying, fretting. It's always the conscious mind doing these foolishness, but the subconscious mind duplicates it and reproduces it. And you find yourself doing these things all the time. And you wonder why.
Sir Chris,
Yes, sir.
help me. You know, it's funny you bring this up right now, and I just remember that dream I had sometime in the week when I was out on the road. I was at a hotel room. I was done for the day, and I'm a little tired, but I was looking at the TV in the hotel room, and I fell asleep, sitting up, at the foot of the bed. I fell asleep. Now, usually, I was waiting to go get a shower and stuff, but I fell asleep. I dozed off. Now, you know what? You don't know say you doze off until when you wake up.
That's
Yeah, I
true.
mean, but what I
Oh,
know,
no.
here the unique thing now, based on what you were just saying a while ago. Now, so when you dream, you lay down on your bed and thing and you dream. And so, stuff happen at the dream, and sometimes you find out you sleep, you jump up out of your sleep and want to write it, but you're laying down, so you can't fall down anymore because you already are laid down. Explain to me, Sir Chris, why is it that I don't remember what affected me in the dream? Remember, I'm in dream realm now. I'm not nowhere in the room sitting on the edge of the bed, at the foot of the bed. And whatever happened caused me to lean over to the right, like I'm going down to lay on the bed, but like I'm trying to dodge something. Explain to me why I'm wake up physically doing the same thing. Remember, my consciousness was not in the room anymore. What caused my body to move? What affected? I was not consciously. So you understand the difference with the dream with what may I say right now? More I see if I can wrap my mind on it. In a dream realm, why is my body reacting? My physical body reacting. And
So
to me,
what,
that's powerful enough. To me,
what,
that's probably manifesting.
what you
That
do,
not manifesting, but I say what you are saying. Yeah.
yeah, this is how you, it's happened to all of us where whatever we're doing, we
Yeah.
physically do it. You might punch, you might throw a punch, you might throw a kick, but you're dreaming. So why does your body react to it? And you're not consciously do it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but this one was different, man. The reaction was real. Like I woke up, finding my body actually reacting. Let me explain it right. It's
What you say?
unique for me. It's unique for me. Cause my dream punches and dream kicks, I even my dream gunshot them. They move very slow. So it's like for some reason I think that them slow because of like if I throw a punch, the punch is not. It didn't have the power that I want and the tenacity that I wanted to go with because I think, and this is my thoughts, is that the connection with the flesh. So I can't actually move the punch because my arm is still, it have weight and lay down on the bed there with me. So that is stopping me from moving with the the speed and the lightning speed that I like move. So that's me though. I don't know about you, but I can't throw no hard, quick punch in my vision and in a dream. I know kick and them thing there. As I say, even my gunshot them. when we try to shoot people. But this time it was different. That's what I mentioned because of what you were just saying prior to that. Is that why my body react to that? That never happened to me like that before. My body reacted very quickly. So it could be that my body already have fall over. Because I might not be asleep. So my body have fall over and then the fall. My body have fall over now cause me to
All
feel
right.
like that in a dream.
All right.
And that's
So
so yeah.
let me see where you get it to now. So I think I know what you're saying. This is not something that happens all the time, but it's you're what you're basically dreaming about you're doing. That's what you're saying. It's happening almost immediately as what you're dreaming about.
Like simultaneously.
Simultaneously, and you wake up seeing yourself doing it.
Exactly. Exactly.
If you don't normally do in real life what you did in the dream. Understand? When you woke up find yourself doing that. And that happens sometimes. It's funny because let's just say you're dreaming some bad dream or whatever. Let's use that. And somebody is calling your voice in the dream. Somebody's calling your name in the dream. And then somebody for real is calling your name outside of the dream. And you wake up and you hear the person calling you. I'm like, wait a minute. Was that the voice I was hearing while I was in my dream? I'm sure that has happened to you guys. Where
Yes.
is that the voice I was hearing in my dream? Oh, I thought I was dreaming, but somebody was actually calling my name. And when they called your name, you woke up, but you were in a bad dream. And it's almost like that voice outside of you, the real person, saved you in a way from continuing that dream. Because you don't know where that dream is going. What it is doing in your mind or even body, or your body's reacting to the dream and whatnot. So it's like that voice, that person on the outside called you and you woke up and no, you don't have to continue the dream anymore. Certain things said earlier, he was conscious he was dreaming, which I've done. I've had dreams like that where I realize I'm dreaming bad, and I just open my eyes and end it right there. So I think it's something like that you're talking about. Mr. Ivanov.
You know,
Why is that?
there's another example we can use and think, we are adults here. So why does the subconscious is it no well, is it the subconscious mind that controls and you have things that happen on the physical, like as men when we were boys, Yeah. You know what I'm saying, Sir Chris, but see your face. Things that happen within our dreams and it manifests itself on the physical when you wake up. You see what I'm saying? So I mean, you see all the subconscious, yeah?
Yeah, that is a subconscious. I mean,
But it's a very unique example of what we're talking about right now.
yeah.
Because something happens on the physical stimulated by not by physical stimulation, but by the subconscious. What is happening with your subconscious? Am I correct?
Because you see, the subconscious mind is actually in what they call the real world. That wherever it resides, that's the real world. This is the world that's being projected. This is not real. So this is a projection by the subconscious, or they would say from the fourth dimension, or from your imagination and whatnot. So why they say it's the real world is because everything there, you cannot change it. It is what it is. Everything exists there. You can't change it. You call things from there to here. As scripture says, let it be on earth as it is in heaven. Heaven is the subconscious mind. So everything is already there, and you wanted it here as it is already here. So whatever is here is in the subconscious. Whatever is here is in heaven. And so it's always a projection And therefore, if you're in the subconscious, if you're in that world, it's going to react even in your body. Whatever you're thinking. This is why when you think about worry, fret, or happy, or excited, or stimulated sexually, the body have a reaction to it.
There you go.
There's nobody in front of you to stimulate you, but you're stimulated by the mind. You understand? Because in that world, everything already exists. And your body is just, they call it now. It's an instrument receiving the instruction from the mind, and it operates accordingly, you know? And so this is why we produce things in this realm, 3D realm, where something is in your mind, conscious mind interacts with the subconscious. I mean, we are conscious of that now because that's what we're discussing, but it's generally something that is unconscious to us. We don't know. That's what it is. That's why we invented a God, the sky. That's why we invented a God, because we cannot explain or did not know what to explain why the thing that we think about, why do we get it? Whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. So when we get this thing, we say, if it's good, it came from God. If it's bad, it came from the devil. And because we cannot identify the subconscious mind, it's not a surface mind, it's not something that we're conscious of, doesn't think, doesn't reason, all this type of stuff. It's a surface mind, but it exists, it's there. That's the mind that we have related to God. The subconscious mind is the mind of good. All that means is, to the subconscious mind, everything is good. There's nothing bad or good to the bad or good to the subconscious mind. It doesn't have a duality about it. Nothing is bad to it. Everything is good. Good meaning yes. It's a yes man. It says yes to everything. It never says no. It cannot say no. It is impartial. That is the impartial aspect of your consciousness. That's why we say God is impartial, because that is the God mind, the good mind, where everything is good. You tell your subconscious why this year is going to be a bad year, and you impress upon the subconscious mind that belief or feeling, it is going to be. Because to the subconscious mind says, yes. You know, everything is good. It cannot say everything to it. It has to obey. It has to abide by what you say. So it cannot choose what it's going to say yes to or no to, because it could never produce if it had a decision in making. It can only say yes, because you're the one designing what you need. It just says yes, and it goes about producing what you design. Yes, sir, Gary. Sir, Gary, what's that called me?
I wonder. No. But just add to what I still say. A lot of people wonder why people who a lot of people consider some people to be wicked people. You know what I mean? Why them prosper? Why? So why God? Why I make them want to prosper and them so wicked? But what is happening is so true. You understand? It's the impartiality. You understand? If that man desires with the same great desire and force and believe 100%. Not even believe, I'm put out there. Him know, him acknowledge already say him I go get where him desire. He's gonna get it. So the the conscious mind. Is it the conscious mind we're talking about? No, the subconscious mind. You understand? Will reward. You see, man, um it has no partiality. Just like what you said. You see, man, dude? So that's how them consider people who them consider to be wicked people to prosper. Why them not prosper? You understand? Because you know you know the faith with that person they have within themselves. You know what I mean? That's why them not prosper. You know what I mean? If I even wickedness them are desire, it will come true for them. God and believes it, them acknowledge it.
And then those people are said to be are they are praying to the devil, and the devil is carrying out their deeds, and so on and so forth.
Right.
But not realizing that, as I was telling my friend yesterday, using the coin scenario, that the coin is one, but it has two different sides. Have a head and tail, right?
I like that. I like that. I like that.
Two coins. It is one. It's whatever side you want to face, whatever side you decide to look at, that's what you're going to see. So the power is one power. It's a source operated. Let's just use water. If you decide to boil the water, it will become hot. If you decide to put it in the freezer, it will become cold. It is impartial. It cannot only be just one thing. It has no ability to refuse whatever you subject it to. So if I take the hot water and I decide to make tea, or I decide to burn myself for whatever reason, or someone else, the water is not at fault here. It is the operator, the one using it. And the use of it then becomes either good or evil. It's not the thing that is good or evil. It is what you, the user, use it for. You can use a knife to cut up a piece of chicken or cut somebody. The knife is innocent. Have you ever seen a knife being arrested? Or a gun being arrested? They arrested for the weapon.
You know,
Weapon
and that's so true, Sir Chris. You know what I mean? You could have used a quarter and the same coin you talk about. It have a heads and a tails, you know, but at the same one, whichever one you face and thing, it will have the same value. You go buy an ice cream with it. Whether you desire to buy the ice cream if you smash it in somebody's face and laugh after them, I desire to buy the ice cream if you give a little child and make them happy. It matters not. You're gonna get the ice cream.
not going to not give it the ice cream because ice cream is your desire. What you desire is then up to you.
Exactly.
This is why we have invented laws and regulations and stuff like that, because you cannot control what's in somebody's mind in terms of desire. So they may
Then
do
say God
something.
now sleep, brother.
Huh?
Then say wicked. Then tell wicked people say God now sleep. You
Right?
know what I mean? When them say wicked people are prosper, then tell them they say them only have a short time until God come and take vengeance. You know what I mean?
Not realizing, Sir Martin, that those same people who initially create their own demise. It is not some God in the sky, because this person who's doing these things, you know, this person is not concerned, worried, or is aware that same thing he just took somebody's life, somebody's out to take his, and will eventually ignore. But
Yeah, you acknowledge it.
he may not know that he's created this scenario for it to happen. He don't know that. There's no God or devil. You
Nope.
still somehow, some way, your feeling our thoughts are just, you know, a worry and whatnot. Eventually create thoughts. So when people say God not sleep, that's true. Your subconscious is the God that doesn't sleep. And it's always listening and recording and accepting and molding into form that thing which you desire. So nobody has to do anything to create that outcome. Yes, sir.
Correct.
So they are right, but those people think that when this person meets defines that it was some God that did it. That you be saying now that this God is partial. Yes, sir. And God cannot be partial. Everything is incumbent upon you. Everything. whether it be good or bad. There's no God out there saying, one day, watch. No. That is you who have instructed that one day. I don't know it. You know? So us knowing that is the case, we have to accept it, that it is so. We have to perish the thought that there is some omnipotent being saying yes and no to certain individuals, to people who are black or white or educated or special, all this foolishness. If that was the case, a poor man could never be rich, and a rich man would never get poor. Okay? If this God was partial. Because he would say, you're not educated, you're poor, you're not white, you're not a man, you're not from a certain country and whatnot. It would restrict you, because this so-called God is all-knowing. I would know that you don't have the knowledge or the wherewithal to go from rags to riches. Okay? Or from riches to rags. So it cannot be a source or power, as we used last week, the power of no. It cannot be something that decides based on your knowledge or your location or color or religion, all is foolishness. It is all consciously related. Whatever you are conscious of being, that's what you become. And it doesn't decide, I'm going to do it at this time or that time. It doesn't do that. It is up to how you feel. As the analogy was Sir Marlon used earlier, it's when you put the water in the refrigerator to be frozen. It's when you stop opening the door back and forth, it makes your ice. Okay? And it's going to happen at the right time, which is when you decided to just leave the thing to be, but have the expectancy that it is so, then it will make whatever it is that you needed or wanted so badly. You know? And it will do it whether you're going to use it for good or evil. It does not know what your intentions are to use it for. You know? It's going to make it, and you may decide you're going to use the ice to bust somebody's head. I don't know. It's not going to stop you. That's why we have laws for that, to arrest you and lock you up in jail or prison, because the consciousness has no ability to arrest you ahead of time to stop you from committing a crime. So we've devised laws to do so, because we understand that you cannot control the mind of man in that sense. Man is going to do what man is going to do in mind. And so we have to have some kind of, we call it now, parameters set, some guidelines for those of us who get out of hand. That's why you have river banking to keep the water from getting out of hand and direct it to where you want it to go. The water cannot direct itself. Okay? And sometimes, man, we lose or get out of control for whatever reason. And so these outside parameters are set in place to use as guidelines for that purpose. But for the most part, thankfully, man is not necessarily like that. And when I say man, I'm talking male and female. Okay? We are mankind, not mankind and womankind. We're man. That is our generic identity. But we operate as a dual ship, one feminine, one masculine. The dual nature of consciousness. We have the dual nature of man. One of us is masculine, muscular. One of us is feminine and soft and have shape and whatnot, but we are one unit. We are not two. That's an illusion. You guys need to understand that when you see a man and a woman, you're not looking at two people, you're looking at one individual, one person that has a dualship operating as two. Okay? Each is playing their part. And one gives, the other what in terms of the child, and the other creates the child and gives it back. And you become the parents, like parentheses. You bracket that child and protect it until it grows up to do the same thing you did. Okay? That's exactly how it works. So all we're doing here, guys, before we close out, it's now the clock at 12. All we're doing is, learning how our mind works so we can be more effective and more efficient. When you're driving, I used this analogy last week, when you're driving somewhere and you know exactly where you're going, you drive with purpose, you drive with direction, you drive with just knowing exactly where you go. There's no guesswork. You know exactly where you're going. You drive at the fastest speed, and you're very decisive on where you want to go. You can switch lanes. You know you're not going to get to your destination for the next 20 minutes, so you don't have to drive in one lane behind somebody who's not going nowhere. You get out that lane and go into the fast lane. You know where you're going. Then there are those of us who don't know where we're going, but we're using the same road. We're traveling by guesswork. We're hoping we reach on time and reach the right place. We're hoping that the navigation is right. We're traveling by navigation. We're not traveling by knowledge, in terms of not even knowledge, wisdom. We're not wise enough to know exactly where we're going. We're dependent on some device to take us there. It's not a subconscious memory yet. So we're going to drive only as we're directed, so we don't miss a turn and whatnot. But we're all using the same road. The road here is your consciousness, your awareness. So the more you know how this world works, where it turns off at this direction, that location and whatnot, you will use it accordingly. You'll use it much easier. You'll drive it more efficiently, less accidents, all of that stuff. Because a lot of accidents are caused by people who don't know what they're doing, where they're going. But if you know, you'll use the road more effectively, more efficiently. It's the same thing with your consciousness. If you know exactly how it works, that it is a dual mind, but it is one, male, female, husband, wife, man, woman. Okay? If you know that's how it works, then you won't question, when am I going to get my thing? When is this going to come? When is that going to come? You know exactly how the mind works. You decide what you need, give it to the subconscious, and the subconscious produce it. You desire a son or daughter or a child in general, you have sex with your wife. She produces it. And you already know that. You don't try to produce the baby. So we have to have the same, we have to arrive at the same awareness when it comes to our mind. It is very pertinent to know this. Okay? It works exactly the same way. It's just that it's more dynamic. You can get many from your mind. Okay? And we're very dynamic beings. We can be anything we want to be in our mind and produce anything we want to produce in our mind. And it is one of the greatest assets, our greatest ability to have. Sometimes it's detrimental because it's like a buffet. You don't know what to eat. Can't make up your mind. It is much easier to stick to one thing at a time until it is done, then you move on to the next thing. You know, our consciousness is like all the different animals you see. We can be all those things. But notice that the animals can only give birth to what they are. A dog cannot have a cat and all these different things. It is telling you that your mind have the ability to concentrate on one particular thing and be that until it unfolds. And then you decide to be something else and it becomes that. It's just showing that your mind can bounce around, move from one thing. Our problem is we're trying to be all these things at the same time. We have no focus, no concentration. And that's why we don't manifest as effectively, as fastly as we would like, because we're all over the place. So that's where the seed or the mustard seed story comes from. If you can just have the faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. All that it means is that the mustard seed can only be a mustard seed. It does not know how to be any other seed but what it is. Your faith has to be exactly like that. When you decide upon something, just be that in mind and be as faithful as that mustard seed, meaning that until you receive this thing, you're not going to be anything else. You're not going to doubt. You're not going to inquire. You're not going to worry. You're not going to fret. You're just being this one thing that you have desired to achieve or to receive. That's the mustard seed, behavior. You're behaving like a mustard seed, only known to be just that and produce only just that. That's all that story means, So that said, any questions, any comments before we close out? Probably run a few more minutes and then we close up for today. Any inquiry? It's 12:12 right now on the dot. Any particular part of today's lesson that made sense, opened your eyes, give you some clarity, some increase in your awareness? Nobody? Okay. One more thing. Hope you guys were taking notes. Most powerful thing you can do in your conscious mind is to say, I don't know. Yeah, sir, you wrote that. That's true. That's the best thing you can say, is that you don't know. It's okay. The sooner you come to that conclusion, the sooner you will learn how to manifest. Or you will manifest quicker, because you're not trying to figure it out. And you don't know how to do it. But you have another aspect of you that does know how to do it, and that is the subconscious mind. Not God in the sky, and not some devil who is trying to manipulate or stop your blessing. None of that stuff. You are aware that the whole time you have been the one running your entire life. Your consciousness is this God within, and there's no God out there that's doing anything. We all communicate as individual consciousness by the way of our subconscious mind, So that's another aspect of the mind, as mentioned in the book here, that operates by telepathy. And you guys have done it all the time. You thought about a friend and the friend call you almost immediately, you know? And we take it for granted. We don't see it as anything. We don't realize that we're the one that initiated the call. Or maybe a mail, an email, text message, something. Whatever it is, we're always initiating it. So as today's topic says, let us make manifestation. Our goal this year is to get better at manifesting our desires. Firstly, to understand that no one outside of yourself is going to give it to you. It is you who give it to yourself, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. Since you know that it is you who's giving it to yourself, you might as well think of, feel, imagine, concentrate, contemplate only on something that you truly desire. Do not wander off into, which we all do, into foolish thoughts or feelings. If you do, catch yourself. That might be a topic in itself. Catch yourself, because you can do it. Realize what you're doing, and as they say, nip it in the butt, right there and then. It's not necessarily what you go off into, but it's how long you go off into it. So there's a grace period, as they call it, where you might desire something and you start to wonder how it's going to happen. Catch yourself. The longer you wonder how it's going to happen, the longer it's going to take to happen, because you're now opening the fridge, the freezer door, and waiting for the ice to be made, and it's not going to be made. Close the door. Shut off the senses of the mind, the conscious mind, and turn over to the senses of the subconscious mind. The subconscious works effortlessly, or they would like say effortless effort. Okay? It has no efforts about it whatsoever. The only part of you that use effort is will, is your conscious mind. The subconscious mind does not will anything. It doesn't use any effort. It just flows like the river downstream. No effort. You, on the other hand, try to go against the stream, upstream the river. That's effort. You got to go with the flow. We're learning to go with the flow of our mind. One part conscious, one part subconscious. The conscious mind decides or desires what it wants, turns it over to the subconscious. That's going with the flow. Do not try to desire and create what you desire. It's not going to happen. Okay? You desire to buy a house, a car, a piece of land, some building, whatnot. You desire it, and you imagine yourself already having it, as never teach. To live in the end, already see yourself already having this thing. Shut off the five senses, because they will tell you it is a lie, that you don't have such thing. But learn how to become, as it says here, temporarily or somewhat subjective. Okay, be subjective even in your objective mind, meaning to go with the flow. Just accept it, submit. It is what it is. Once you get to that level, you have disciplined your five senses, which are the 12 disciples. You've disciplined them. Then your savior in that scenario, this Jesus, which is your subconscious mind, because you have disciplined your mind, you've protected it from influencing your subconscious with any disbelief. The subconscious mind, your savior, goes about itself and find the ways to enact this desire. it will find the right people that can help you to buy the house, help you to buy the car, help you to buy the property, help you to, um, make this trip that you've always wanted to make, or increase your income. Whatever your desires are, or desire is, the subconscious mind will make the connection with these people. You understand? How do you think your cell phone works? It doesn't work off one tower, It jumps from tower to tower to tower as you drive. That's what your subconscious mind does. It goes around from these different subconscious mind, make the connection, and draw them into your existence. I have many examples that I've shared here of things that I've done or had done and whatnot. And almost all of these things done, I have no expertise in them whatsoever, but still got it done. I needed a roof. I don't know how to put on a roof. I mean, I could learn how, but somebody else out there is better at it than I am, and got it done. There's a big tree in the back of this yard next door that I wanted to get cut down. I don't know how to cut down a tree. It wasn't my tree, it was the next door neighbors, but it was causing issue with my plumbing. The tree gone now. One day somebody came here, bought the house, cut down a tree, all of it's gone. 5 years now, no problem with my plumbing anymore. Went through that for years, but I wish that tree to be gone. I saw it gone. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I didn't try to make it happen. It just happened. The right person came along and made it happen. That person has a subconscious mind. Mine and theirs somewhere, somehow entangled. And they showed up, bought the house, rest of it is history. That's how it works. So we're making manifestations by way of our consciousness. One is male, one is female. And that's all there is to know. All right. In the coming weeks, we're going to try to add some little subtle differences to the show. So I look forward to that. One part of it is to really get you guys a little bit more involved as we're here doing the programs and whatnot. So looking at some other alternatives to increase the participation and stuff like that. And not just on the participation, but also for the most part, just to increase your knowledge, and success in manifesting. Okay. Said weeks ago, write down your desires, whatever it is that you want to desire or manifest, write it down. And we want to see some testimonies of people actualizing these things in your life. No matter how small it is or big it is, write it down, make it plain, and desire it, live in the end of it. And I want to hear you guys talk about the thing that you had desired actually came to pass. Why are we saying this? Because we want you guys to know that you are the ones who are doing it, and stop giving credit or blame to a God and the devil. It is always you. Always you. No one else manifests but us.
But Sir Chris, isn't it written that thou shalt not test the Lord thy God? I don't mean to sound mocking. I mean to sound mocking. No man, this is exactly what we need to do, man. That is all. That stuff is only written just to put people more in fear I mean, it's a part of the whole fear-based business. You understand? So do what I say and don't try me. Don't try what I tell you. No. Don't try me because that is you going against, you disrespecting me. Don't try me to see if I'm going to do it or not. You don't must just believe that I will. Doesn't matter about, tell me, in retrospect now, most of us here, oh, it really makes sense.
We're actually just going to wait, and if it doesn't happen, don't worry, there's a great place waiting for you that I want to prepare for you and whatnot. So if you don't get it on earth, you'll get it in heaven and all this stuff. So yes, we have that foolishness that they've embedded in our psyche to accept, and in accepting that, you just continue to produce as which is nothing. You're producing zero because you're waiting around for something to be done. Everything, and scripture tells you that when you pray to accept, I think you use the word believe. I rather use the word accept. When you pray, accept that you already have it. That's what scripture tells you. When you pray, accept that you already have it, and you will. It's telling you that it is incumbent upon you, not incumbent upon God. It is you who have to first accept that it is so. When you accept that it is so, then you will get it.
So, because so I think I think it would even still be safe to say no that you have already received and you shall. I think we can use accept just the same and even use the word no. Know that you have already received and you shall.
Always better.
Yeah, I mean? Yeah, man.
No is
Because
better.
that same sort of thing going on.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
To know is better. It's the five senses that robs you and fools you. That's why you don't use the word no. So it's easy to use the word believe, because believe now, it just simply believe is because of the five senses. You're saying just trust that it is so. So to believe is to kind of like initiate a trust. Yes, sir, Larry. And that's Janice. Yeah, thank you, Janice. Yeah, to accept, I mean, to believe is to say to initiate some kind of trust. And you trust that it's going to happen this way or this happening. But yes, to know gives you a better connection. When I pick up the phone to call somebody, I don't believe or trust or hope. I know the phone is going to ring. You understand? You have to have that same certainty when you are praying or desiring something. Stick to, in your heart that it is already possible. It already has happened. And you just have to, it's a grace period. You have to, the grace period exists for a reason, because you could change your mind. That's why the waiting period is there. What if it's something that is bad that you had desired? Thank God nothing doesn't happen immediately as you desire it, especially with your feeling. There's a grace period to change your feeling, to change your thought, to change your desire, to return what you just bought. No, want it again. You return it or cancel the order. It's the same thing you do in your mind. Everything you do on the outside has been done is what you're doing on the inside. We need to know these things. You can cancel, you can delete, you can return, you can undo feelings or desires and whatnot that you foolishly garnered. But you have to be aware that you did. That's why they say to be conscious. To be conscious is to be aware. But we operate unconsciously most of the time, so we do a lot of things we're not aware of. And that's why things just pop up and you wonder where that come from, because we didn't know we planted those seeds. You know, so just be conscious that we're always planting seeds. We're the farmer, and our subconscious mind is the soil, and it doesn't refuse anything that you plant in it. It only gives back what you put into it. All right. So that's the lesson for today's, ladies and gentlemen. I'll keep you guys posted on when we're going to make that little shift in the new format and whatnot. Still working on it, but in the meantime, if you guys can get this book, the Never Gathered collection, a lot of stories in here, 14 books. This is from his book. This story came from his book, Prayer, The Art of Believing. Okay, that's this book. Prayer, The Art of Believing, and this is, we did chapter 2, the dual nature of consciousness. But I will post in the room the tape. It's only 12 minutes long, and you guys can listen to it for your own benefits, right? So bless up yourselves. Happy Sunday, guys. Love you all. We'll be back here again next week, Sunday. It's going to be a new month. I believe so, right? Next month starts, I think, next week, Friday. Or is it Saturday? No, it is Friday. Next week, Saturday is the 1st of March 1st. So look at that. The month has already ended. So, but we're just beginning. All right. Bless up yourselves, guys. Love you all. And we'll see you next week.